So my topic, as probably all of you might have seen, that it is on the Internet of Things and overview. Actually, although I will just try to cover few more things on that. Actually, some detailing of that. Let me just go through the basic things on that. Actually, so the content of this that entire session will be on what is basically this Internet of Things, IoT we call it actually, the basic history of IoT, how does IoT came into the picture actually where it is currently, that is the evolution of IoT, then life cycle of IoT and how does it work, the technology behind this, then the applications of IoT in some of the use cases like in the healthcare, agricultural, power sectors, and all those. There are a lot of other applications areas that cannot means in a 1 hour session it will be difficult to cover everything. But I will just touch upon a few of the applications areas which will be much revenue wise or percentage wise a major chunk in the industry which covers that actually. Then this technology is associated with IoT, its architecture, basic architecture behind this IoT, and some of the design considerations, its security privacy part actually, which is from research perspective and academicians perspective, I think that is a very hot topic currently, and its future scope. And lastly, I will just try to touch upon on that IIoT, which is the industrial Internet of Things, which is the basic trends actually which comes from the IoT concept basically. Okay, so let me go to the definition first of all. What is IoT basically? So this is from the as per that RFID group, radio frequency identify group. This is basically this worldwide network of interconnected objects. So each and every objects currently in this world, we can conceptualize that this is basically a digital objects actually, which is being connected to every other objects in this world actually. So there are technology behind this. We'll come across, and each and every object is uniquely addressable based on some standard communication protocol that we have in the networking systems, current networking and communication systems. So each and every object is connected to each and every one. So, sensors is the basic backbone of this IoT, and then comes the actuators. So the second definition, which you can see, is interconnection of actuating devices. That is the devices which generally take some course of action, maybe some electrical, mechanical, electromechanical, chemical, whatever you can think of. That kind of actions is being taken based on the sensors driven data. That is the data that you have captured from sensing devices. Okay, and that and the ability to share that information across platform through a unified framework. So there should be some framework which is standard framework actually, through which this particular data will be transmitted, right, through some interface, for example, to some other application area where it gets some kind of processing or analyzing, and then take some action based on that, right? Decision making, right? So that decision making could be anything, predictive analysis, kind of thing, some
Sir, slide is not moving. Slide is not moving, sir. Request to move the slide.
slide is not moving. I mean the second slide on the definition of IoT, is it not moving?
No, no. First,
No,
only
sir, it's
introduction part
stuck on
is.
the first slide.
It is on the first slide only, you're telling?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Let me check.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay, sir.
Oh, now you can see, no, second slide?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it is visible also, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, I was in the presentation mode. Probably that is the root cause. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'll put it in this form only. Okay. So that is what the second definition I was talking about. So this particular interconnection of actuating devices, providing the ability to share the information across the different platforms, heterogeneous platforms, through some unified framework. And this is basically achieved through some seamless ubiquitous sensing. That is the sensing which is pervasive and which is ubiquitous, that is present all across the world, actually, everywhere. Okay, through which the data is being captured and sent to anywhere and everywhere in this world, where from the data analytics and information representation. That is analysis. On top of that, you are representing that information to take some decision through some, say, cloud computing platform. Okay, so cloud computing, big data, IoT, these are nowadays all are coming into the same umbrella, and as a whole, we can say that IoT is not acting as a means, separately or uniquely, but it depends on all these technology areas, starting from hardware networking, starting from cloud computing, starting from big data analysis, everything. So everything is coming under the single umbrella, which is now even the machine learning also, because most of the professors and most of the students who has attended and attending these sessions have been considering on the mostly on that machine learning and their recent trends. I have seen those things actually. So there are a lot of applications areas from the machine learning perspective as well in this IoT. So let me go to the next slide, which talks about the history of IoT, which comes this particular IoT, Internet of Things, coined by Kevin Ashton, that scientist from MIT Auto ID Lab actually, from MIT, and from their global research network and academic laboratories actually. They focused on their researches on the RFID and IoT part actually, okay, and that was on 1999. Now, is it now moving correctly to all of you? These slides?
Yes, it is moving. It is
Okay,
okay. Thank
okay,
you.
yeah, okay. So now this slide talks about that evolution of IoT from pre-internet era to the how this every object is connecting. That is Internet of Things era actually. So you can see that pre-internet era we had some communication between human to human only. It used to talk to the human over landline phones, or say for example through mobile also you used to just talk to them, right? You never used to connect to them in any other means through smartphones or anything. Even the smartphone concept was not there. So from this pre-internet era, there was only human-to-human communication, from where some smart things like networking came, which adds value to that, and it came to Internet of Content, that is to World Wide Web. That is a big revolution that that came into the science in the computer science perspective, where we could see entire thing in the world at a just a mouse click, right? So through email, then concept of email came, then the entertainment and everything we could see through our internet, right? That is called the Internet of Content. That is the www, World Wide Web. Then on top of that, when some IT platform and services was added smartly on this Internet of Content, we came into Internet of Services, right? Nowadays everybody knows that this e-commerce, electronic productivity and all those things. So through e-commerce we can order foods, we can order any other goods that are for example garments or anything whatever you want to, or even mobile phones, the electronic goods, anything that we are thinking of, we can directly order through the e-commerce portal. So this e-commerce portal is a basic platform which connects everybody to others, right? Then from this Internet of Services, when we add some applications on the phones and all, then it comes as the Internet of People, right? So in the Internet of People, we are into the social media. We are nowadays we are telling that we are into Skype, we are into Facebook, or we are into this YouTube, Twitter, whatever you can think of. Those are into Internet of People, right? So this Internet of People, when it comes and added to the devices and objects and tag to the devices, and then uniquely identified through other objects actually, and the machine to machine communication happens actually not between the human to machine. Starting from human to human, it came to human to machine, and then machine to machine communication then comes, which is basically called this Internet of Things actually. So through machine to machine communication, we can now connect one mobile to another mobile, one mobile to another television, mobile to another tab. So there are a lot of connectivity we can see. So this is basically called this Internet of Things. So was the enablers of this machine to machine communication or the Internet of Things are the tagging of the objects, actually identification and of the objects through some uniquely identified address, and other structures, semantical structures, and sharing of the data between all other objects actually, right? So this is the entire changes from pre-internet to the Internet of Things that we are currently in, right? Now, let us go to the next slide, which talks about the life cycle, right? Life cycle of Internet of Things, which is basically we can split it into four categories. One is the collection of data, then communication of the data through some interfacing system, then analyzing of the data, and then next is the acting on that particular data that we are getting, right? This is the Internet of Things life cycle. So when you come to the collection of data, that means collection of data from different devices, whatever devices you can think of in this world, probably anything from your home, at your home. There are televisions, there are people who are staying there. So maybe from the healthcare perspective, the data from some people, some say elderly people, you are capturing some data from their body, their physiological parameters, sugar, pressure, and all those things. From your car, for example, you are fetching some data related to the car's say age, the behavior of the driver, how they are driving the car, okay, the mileage, how many kilometers it has run, what is the make of that particular car, and things like that. Okay, so there are innumerable number of data that can be captured. At the office, from the office also, how many people are working at a particular time, how their movement, okay, uh, the density of people, like that. So there are a lot of other things that has been captured actually. The manufacturing plant, which is the biggest chunk of, I should say, the data that can be captured to the manufacturing plant, because manufacturing plant is a plant where end-to-end making of some finished good happens actually. From the raw material, it goes to the working process. From working process, it goes to the finished good, right? So this entire gamut of data that captures is getting captured from the manufacturing plant. Each and every point actually. There are supply chains happens, end-to-end supply chain happens. That is, from the suppliers you are getting the raw materials. When you get the raw materials, you receive that raw material into your plant. Once you receive it, it goes to your stock, inventory stock. From that stock, then you start your say production, say car manufacturing unit. So you are starting your mass production. So when you are starting your production, you have to pick up some raw material from different locations, sub inventory from locators, different locators. You have to pull out those materials to bring into your process areas actually, right? So once it goes to your process area, then it goes through some value added services, right? So once it goes to the value added services, then ultimately you get some finished good as a part of say car. So once that car is produced, then some quality checking at every point actually, not only at the finished good part, but starting from receiving the raw material, then putting it into that working process. Then once the working process is completed into this finished good, then also finished good quality, then packaging, then shipping, and then sending it to the say distributors, dealers, everything, and then to the end customer. So this entire thing, gamut of data is collected actually, right, through IoT devices. So now next point is the communication. So sending this data and events through network to some destinations. So we need to, what should we do with this big data actually? It's a big amount of big chunk of data. So we need to send it to some platform where it can be stored, where it can be used for future reference, where it can be analyzed, and where it can be used to generate some reports out of that, so as to take some decisions on that, right? So it can be sent to some cloud platform. It can be sent to some private data center, or say any other network, home network, or anywhere. Depends on your usability actually. Correct. So once you send it for communication, then it comes to the analysis of that particular data. Okay. So you have to visualize the data. You have to interpret the data, build some report, right? So what is the, say, for example, car manufacturing data we are talking about? When the cars are getting manufactured from raw materials, so the management will try to understand what was our sales and operations plan at the start of the year 2021, say for example, we have forecasted some figure of some that say for example $10,000 US dollars we have forecasted vis-a-vis how much raw material we have purchased. So that will be coming under the purview of the purchasing department, that how much raw material they have purchased, right? Vis-a-vis the budget. So by which we can determine that how much efficient our purchasing department was, right? That is their target vis-a-vis how much they have fulfilled. Then it comes to the our plant. So in the production area, say for example, so when it comes into the production area, production manager forecasts some data on their total volume of say for each and every type of car they are manufacturing. Okay, say for example Maruti car, they are manufacturing different kind of models. So based on these different models, how many was forecasted or predicted for this financial year, and vis-a-vis how much they have manufactured, correct, or manufacturing in the plant. From the sales perspective, how much they have sold, finished good, how much they have sold into the market. So this entire kind of data that you can see means embracing the entire industrial sectors, starting from procurement to when it comes to the supply chain, it starts from the procurement, quality, then working process, manufacturing line, and then to the finished good, and then to the sales and marketing part. So entire data and reports are collected at a single point in time from a particular applications through these connected IoT devices, and there is no mismatch between the data or records that you are trying to fetch from different portals or different applications areas under the same say umbrella or same application areas, correct, in a particular company. Prior to this IoT era, actually there was some disconnection between these data actually. So because of disconnection between the different products or different items or different parts of particular products, so now entire thing is coming into the same framework, and the data is being fetched and sent to the subsequent supply chain cycles, so as to process this and to generate the reports out of that and to present it to the management, and then based on that data we are just trying to do some calculations and then give that particular report to the top management, and then taking the decisions. Then company's profitability, everything is dependent on that actually, right? So once this then comes that action part actually. So this action part is taking action based on the information and data that you are taking. That is communicating with the other machine and another machines. That is the machine to machine communications. Send some notification. Say for example, if we take that the example of the card insurance part. Say for one of the example that I will come in the next few slides. That is one of the use case actually. So they send some notification to us when our car insurance is getting matured or we need to getting expired actually, right? So we are getting some notifications or emails or some messages through our smartphone actually, and we come to know that okay, our insurance now is getting expired, so we need to do that. Even in our life insurance also, LICs and all other private insurance companies, they send notifications to us based on the data that is already being fed to their system, right? So those everything is basically possible because of this evolution of this particular, I should say, this technology in IoT actually, Internet of Things. Okay, and based on that particular data or messages, we take some actions also, and we can talk to another systems. Okay, so this is the action part. So after this particular slides, I just trying to depict on the different links between the end users and the application areas on the IoT. If you are able to see this properly, you can see in the middle we are having the Internet of Things with the sensing, analytics, and visualization of tools, which connects the different areas like our home applications areas. This is the home part. This is the transportation part. This is the community part. This is the national and other our national across the national and regions actually. The different areas where industrialists, then policymakers, then for home or personal use, or doctor who are also giving care to the patients. Okay, so from the home area perspective, we are having our health of the elder people, say for example, the data is being captured automatically and synchronously every time. On real-time data is being captured and sent to some hospitals portals, say for example, to take some actions on the elderly people's health and all. Okay, if something to do with the preventive maintenance on the health part also, that can be done through this technology. Entertainment, then security is one of the biggest part, wherein we can control our security, home security, staying away from our home, right? So say we are driving the car going to office from home, and all on a sudden, we in our smartphone itself we could get some alarm on what, that some intruder is trying to come into my house, which is empty actually, no one is there actually, because all of us have come out. Say I have gone to my office, my wife has gone to her office, my kids have gone to the school, so no one is staying now at home. So some intruder is trying to intrude or do some snatching or theft activity. That kind of information through sensor and actuating devices can be sent through cloud to ultimately to the other device, like our uh, uh, mobile phones or other devices. So we come to know that there is some security issue, right? In the transport sector, in the logistics, then traffic signals, parking is one of the area which has a big applications on the IoT. Traffic signals, you can see that is also entirely connecting to this IoT technology. That is the how much traffic is there in particular region, say in the Kolkata Kolkata urban areas, and it also links to one area to the other, to their walkie-talkie and through other devices, digital say devices, that how much traffic is there in the other part of this Kolkata, so that and that data is sent to the in some central area, say Raja Bazar, sorry, that is sent to this our BBD bugs, that particular central location where that entire gamut of data is sent, and that traffic control from the traffic control room, they just control that particular traffic from there actually, right? So that is also one of the biggest area of applications of IoT that they can control seamlessly and smoothly. Emergency services like like fire systems and all. Okay, those emergency services, then healthcare services also, that comes under one of the emergency services. Then also highway is one of the area where a lot of accidents and those fatal accidents and these things happen. So that can be prevented if we sense beforehand that what are the speeds of different vehicles that are means traveling through this particular highway within the range of say 100 kilometers. So if say I am driving on a highway and I do not see a particular car is coming from 50 kilometers away from me, or say 10 kilometers, even 50 is too much, so say 5 kilometers away from me, and coming just in opposite direction by mistake. Okay, and its speed is very high, and I cannot understand that it is coming. If some with the IoT devices and sensors connectivity, if my car is so smart that it can understand that okay, means away 5 kilometers away from my car, there is a car which is coming in this way abruptly. So I will be getting some alert, and I can uh, I can align my driving accordingly so as to avoid any kind of accident, right? So that is another kind of things, or prevention of accidents and all those things. IoT can be used in the community sector, factory. Then factory means where this manufacturing of any kind of small goods or big goods are, can be done. Then in the retailing sectors, okay, retailing sectors, like we order through the retail shops and all nowadays, okay, through smartphones and all. The products we order and get it in the house itself. Even we get the discounts also. So those are some of the benefits of the using this internet nowadays online through these devices and all. That helps us to seamlessly operate on all those activities, which was not possible earlier, right? Then surveillance activities, right? Surveillance of any kind of that police man and all of them do used to do physically earlier. Now through the sensors and camera sensors and all those things, we can do the surveillance even where the theft happened or where the kind of dacoity happened on a road, say for example snatching or any other things, that also can be captured, or any accident also that happened, how it happened. All those kinds of data can be captured through the camera sensors posted in different areas actually. So those are the different areas of the community. National also, like utilities. You have the utilities like water supply, gas supply, electricity supply, where there are a lot of applications on the smart metering, smart grid, all those things. Okay, infrastructure and all those things. So this is the entire things. So you can see in a piece of slide actually. So let me go a little bit faster now because the time is constraint. 1 hour time already, 30 minutes have gone. So these are the different technological area where how IoT is working actually, based on some RFID, radio frequency identifier. We are identifying and tracking the data from the particular object, right? Which is called the data of things. And then through the sensors are being used to collect and process the data and to send it to through some interfaces, do some actualizations on the particular data captured through some smart technology. Okay, and then the nanotechnology, which is another one which is enormously used in IoT. We call smart dust or smart pills, which can be eaten by some smart pills can be eaten by the patients to monitor, which will be absorbed in his stomach somewhere. So, for example, and then that will capture all each and every physiological data from your system, internal system. Okay, related to your maybe blood sugar, blood pressure, ECG report, everything can be captured through that particular smart pill, and can be that data can be sent through some interface to the some data aggregation devices, and then some analysis can be done, and that data can be sent to doctor for analysis, and then they send you that through remotely they can send you the prescriptions, or they can send you the what will be that preventive action or the medicines that they can suggest you, right? So these are the different technology area embracing this IoT technology. And next slide, this slide talks about that applications of IoT in different area, like home and home side. You can see there are smart televisions operating in everyone's house now. You can see internet through smart TV. Earlier it was not there. Only you could see Doordarshan, DD1 and DD2 earlier certain time. Once upon a time there were no other channels. Then came the cable TV. That is also not providing us the things that we wanted to see. Currently, through internet in the smart TV, we can watch the movies or songs at our like, right? Previously, it was not there. Previously, it was like outside in approach, we should say, in the term of marketing. Whatever the Doordarshan will be showing us, we are bound to see that. But nowadays, it is up to us that we can browse our smart TV and we can see whatever we want to see, right? Like for example, smartphone through which we can go to anywhere in the world, can see Africa, the jungle of Africa. You can go to the top of Mount Everest at a single click, right? So those are the things. Smart AC is another thing. Smartly ACs are also nowadays operating smartly through IoT devices. So there are sensors attached to the ACs. They can capture the ambient temperature, the number of people in the room, the total volume of air inside the room. Based on that, they operate smartly, and they can adjust their particular temperature in the AC so as to make the temperature soothing for everyone. At the same time, it will be power efficient as well, right? So that particular bill that will be generated uh, electricity bill, that will also be minimized. So the inverter AC has come. So all those are basically the come out of this IoT actually technology. Correct. Sensors are the basic devices. So that is the backbone. Then healthcare, you can see the remote diagnostic and treatment healthcare systems. So there are a lot of applications areas on that healthcare side, which comes next. Then enterprises like in the offices, corporate offices or in other offices, we are having intelligent office illumination system where the lights and other things, lights are automatically illuminated when the people start coming in the office. Okay, and as soon as more people coming, the luminous intensity of those lights gets enhanced, right? So it depends on how much illumination is there present at a certain time in the period in the day. In the day, based on that, it senses the data through some light sensors, and then it automatically adjusts the intensity of that light. And once at the evening or night, when everybody goes back from office to home, automatically all those lights get switched off one by one. So this is the entire thing. This illumination level control is can be done by our IoT systems and sensors. Smart metering. Smart metering is nowadays very common. So all the electricity boards are adopting these smart metering systems, not only in India but abroad also. So smart metering systems, the net metering systems, all those have come through which you can efficiently utilize your energy at the different premises at consumer in the industrial sector, at commercial sectors, or at domestic sectors. You can efficiently use it, and you pay for what you are actually using. There is no wastage. Whatever you are not using, even that can be also sent back to the grid. So through this smart metering system and smart grid system, this is now achievable. Correct. In the transport and logistics systems, there are smart cars that we discussed about. Last mile delivery of the items at the fag end of its delivery period, actually, where you the delivery man was searching, say, for example, that where it needs to be in a particular premises. So nowadays, this last mile delivery and all those things have been made possible through drones and all. So there are UAV devices, unmanned aerial vehicle devices, through which you can send some parcels to your destinations from source by giving that address to it actually, and it will automatically detect through GPSs and all. It will automatically detect the end location where it needs to be delivered, identify the location, and it hand over that particular parcel to them. Right. Smart marking that we talked about. Whenever, say, in the office we are going to the parking area, we try to find out manually where is there is any empty space to keep our car, right? But nowadays it has become so easy. When we are entering into this, there is some chip attached to our car's dashboard. It captures the data from the smart parking area, and it automatically tells you that you go to this place. I mean, it will automatically drive you to this place where this is already empty space is there in the parking area. There will be some signal that will be captured through the sensing devices to the car, and that car will navigate you to the position where it is empty. So this is only possible through this particular, IoT technology. Supply chain manufacturing that I talked about is a big area where this IoT applications of IoTs are there. Then the agricultural field is another one where this agriculture or smart agriculture is possible through irrigation system, using less amount of water and less amount of chemicals and other things. You can produce more crop and better crop, also quality food from and you can, that is also possible through UAVs, actually the drones. You can inspect that nature of the soil, the water level in the particular agricultural field and all those things, and by which you can send that particular captured data to your communicating devices, through which it analyzes and it sends some signal back, and then it operates through some actuating devices. It operates all the instruments that is being connected to the agricultural field, like for example water sprinkler, through which the water is being fed into this agricultural field. So sprinkler will also get some data from remote devices. Okay, this much of water I need to sprinkle in this area of crop, agricultural field. So automatically it adjusts its volume of water that can be sprinkled through it, and it gives the it gives or produces that much of water only. So these all were physical earlier, was not possible through machines and all, which is now possible through advent of this IoT and other actually. Okay. Now I go to this particular applications of IoT based on different industries. There are industry like utility, as I already talked about. Here you can see some of that in the tabular form. What are solutions that can be given to this specific industry? What are the different sensors that is being attached to this for those industries, catering the solutions for those industries? What are the different analytics? What are the different interfaces, and what is the outcome out of those areas actually? Okay. So based on, say, for example, utility, where energy, water and gas, the utility service providers, say for example, CSC or WBSCB in our area, they are providing us electricity. They are generating the electricity. They are transmitting that to transmission line. They are distributing that to in the domestic or commercial areas or industrial sectors. Okay. So this entire thing can be some solutions that can be given is the real-time collection of the usage of the data of the customers. So through smart metering system that can be possible. So you real-time, you access the data, you capture the data, you automatically send that data to the cloud area, cloud region of that utility service provider. Then there's some demand supply prediction can be done. How much demand is there currently, say for CSC's urban area? How much? What are the total consumers connected? Domestic? How many domestic consumers are there? How many industrial consumers are there? How much commercial consumers are there? So based on that, they can judge that how much supply in megawatt or kilowatt, how much is the requirement for that, and how much they should supply each of their generating stations. Okay, then they can do load balancing, they can do dynamic tariff generation. So based on that demand, actually, as you all know, that based on this domestic sector is having different tariff of electricity, then commercial sector is having different tariff, then your industrial sector is having different tariff of electricity per unit kilowatt hour that you are paying. If you mindly look at that CS's bill or WBS bill, understand that. So based on this tariff is also can be dynamically generated based on the data we are capturing from the end consumers or end users. Okay. So what are the different sensors or devices are used? We can use the energy or water sensors or gas meters or kind of things that you can easily understand by the name that what they do actually, right? They capture the usage of water or capture the consumption of energy that the utility provider is giving, or they are capturing that particular volume of gas that we are using, say for example, in our domestic cooking and all. Okay. Then some analytics can be done based on this data. So historical usage analysis can be done. Then the usage prediction based on that historical data. So particular area or particular consumers, how much you are consuming for the last 1 year can be a good data which can be predicted through some statistical method, or say with some machine learning method that you can predict, okay, in the next year, based on this particular industrial sector's volume of revenue or volume of the consumers that they are catering to, that particular utility service provider can generate that particular electricity at their end to cater their demand actually, right? So this demand supply prediction is one of the analytics which is very well used in utility sector. This is the interfacing systems through which the captured data is transferred. So that can be accessed on any internet connected devices through which this data can be sent, right? And what is the outcome? Outcome is consumers connected to these smart networks have seen significant cost and resource saving. So through this dynamic capture of data and balancing between demand and supply, and this all this seamless activities, this outcome is very fantastic actually. So based on this outcome, we can save significant cost and resources, which is the first and foremost thing in any industry, right? So you need to save your cost at the same quality of output that you are producing and giving it to your customers. So this is from the utility sectors. Then if you come from the manufacturing industry is a sector where each and everywhere you can use this IoT, like remote monitoring and diagnostics. So you are having some machines that is being operated day and night in shifts. So each and every machine's monitoring is very much required because you cannot run it for long. Say for example, 24 hours. There will be wear and tear in the machines, right? So the machines might get damaged. So those kind of remote sensing and monitoring from that machine's data can be captured through these IoT sensing devices that can be fed to some uh, other devices from which you can come to know, okay, this particular machine is operating for long, so I have to give some rest or I have to give some preventive maintenance on that, right? Then production line automation. So you have to do an automation in the each and every processes or work in process we say in the manufacturing industry. So each and every processes stages you have to automate that so that our total lead time will get reduced for manufacturing. The waste will get reduced. So we call it lean manufacturing. So as you reduce your wastage in the manufacturing plant, not only your cost of production reduces, but also your profit margin enhances with the same sales price. Also, your quality part of the particular finished good also get enhanced, right? It gets better quality and the customer delight. Okay. So these are the different things from the solutions perspective. Then equipment handling of any forklift, as if anyone of you might have visited this shop floor of any of the manufacturing industry, there are forklifts through which they take raw materials from different inventory or stores or from the locators. So those are equipment handling systems, or say belt through belt also, say in the leather industry through belt, or not only in the leather industry, that is one of the example I'm giving, but in the car manufacturing industry, starting from raw material, then in between intermediate products, everything is moved sometimes through this belt also, conveyor belts. So if through some remote devices and sensors, if you can have the data of those, how they are means operating, and what is the means if any kind of malfunction is happening with those, that can be easily captured, right? And you can take the preventive actions. So what are the different sensors and devices are used, like supervisory control data acquisition systems, SCADA, okay, cameras, other IoT devices. So a lot of other devices can be used nowadays. And different analytics like anomaly detection in equipment usage, their functions, if they are working correctly or not, predictive maintenance I talked about, then automatic quality monitoring. Okay, so if any quality of the product is not good, immediately it gives that senses that and sends the data to the appropriate authority. Okay, and there are some different interface through which this data is being sent, and the outcome obviously is one is reduced field support cost, that is field engineers requirement will be less. Automatically through some robotic operations and robots or drones or automated systems, you can means operate them, you can give services to them, which will lowers your breakdown time, breakdown cost, and all those things, and efficiency will also get increased. Okay, you can do optimal scheduling of the production lines. You can so these are the different things actually. Like in the healthcare also, I have already talked about remote expert doctor consultation and monitoring can be possible through IoT. Okay, chronic disease management like cancers and all those things which are very much chronic. So we can manage those through this connectivity sensors and all. Then elderly care is one of the biggest area. Like the elders are generally nowadays staying alone in the homes. We all go out. So if some of the elders say one of the application areas in fall detection, whenever say in the bathroom or in anywhere in this within your house they fell down due to some hazards, then automatically some signals will go to our say mobile devices and we'll come to know, okay, our mother or the father or elderly people, whoever is staying at our home, has fallen down. So you need to take immediate actions, and through mobile phone, we can immediately call for help actually to nearby persons or say nearby doctors or anywhere actually, right? So these are the healthcare sector solutions, the different sensors and devices which are used in the healthcare sectors like wearable devices. So there are wearable devices, Fitbit trackers that currently nowadays many of the people wears actually this Fitbit tracker generally measures your blood pressure, blood sugar, how many kilometers you are running in a day or walking in a day, your heartbeat on that particular moment of time. Okay, every data is being captured and stored is a as a part of is a report actually. So there is some application area in the Fitbit tracker itself which can be interfaced to your computers, laptops directly, and you can generate your day-to-day data of your health actually, and that is very much useful for you to self-judge that how much fit you are, and with the report that you are getting, even you can take some consultation of the doctors. Okay, with the prescriptive things that you are sorry, the descriptive things that you are getting out of that report, you can convert it to some prescriptive analysis from your doctors actually, right? You can consult with your doctors, and doctors in turn can give you some prescription that what you have to do if your health condition is like that actually. So these are the different sectors. Then comes in your, and this healthcare sector's outcomes, as you can see, what are the different outcomes? It lowers your cost and care. You do not have to go to the hospitals or nearby medicine shops or nearby healthcare means healthcare regions where you have to go and then look for a doctor and sit for a long time, say 2 hours, 3 hours time, and by that time say there is some chronic disease actually that you cannot wait for that actually, so it is not possible that time to wait for so long and to get an uh, some medicines or some rescue from that actually, like that, right? So this is the improved patient outcome, then real-time disease management and all those things. So let me go to the next slide quickly. That talks about the insurance sector. Insurance sector is also having a lot of areas where from this different solutions or services can be fetched actually, like collection of user data, like say condition of some home devices, say some equipment like washing machine or micro oven or your AC connected to your home. So everything is nowadays insured. Life insurance is one of the thing. Car insurance is one of the thing. So all these solutions can be different kind of solutions can be provided through this through these IoT applications by the insurance companies. There will be some prediction of property damage and all those things. The sensors and devices that are used, generally any kind of sensor that can depict the conditions, that is condition monitoring, usage of the insured entity and all those data that can be captured and then can be sent, right? So these are the different sensors that you are using, some analytics that can be done, usage pattern depictions, and then some anomaly detection of the object that is insured. Okay, and the outcome, as you can understand, that creation of newer insurance models, they can smartly uh, tell you about what, based on that current situations of that insurer, how you can improve your insurance policy to provide you better support actually. Okay, with the current insurance, they can better support you so as to cover better, cover more with a less say premium pricing. So dynamically that premium pricing calculation can be done actually based on the conditions actually. Okay, then consumers, goods and retail sectors, transportations, all those three sectors. So let me not go through details of all this. These are the some of the applications areas. I have a lot of slides. I do not think I will be able to manage to go through all those, but these are the some of the things already I discussed about. So this is IoT in the healthcare area. Some of the Fitbit trackers, that what they do actually through sensing, what kind of data they captures, how they automate the entire things and send the data to the doctors to take some actions on that, and to reduce any kind of risk on us. So that is from the perspective of IoT in healthcare. There are different components that is being used in the IoT in healthcare, like sensing. One is the sensing layer, which senses the data, then the aggregated layer, which aggregates the data that has been sensed, and then some processing layers are there, which process the data in the server, and in the cloud platform, they store in the data, entire gamut of data they store in the cloud platform in order to use it in future purpose, say some predictive analysis or things like that. So these are the things. This is basically some pictorial form. You can see how this management is done. I should not go in detail all those things. These are very basic. Means things that I already talked about in the healthcare. How the remote healthcare systems can be used wirelessly to send data. IoT-driven wireless solutions can be used to bring healthcare to patient. This is very important. So we are not that the patients are not going to the hospitals nowadays directly or to the doctors to get or help or get prescriptions or get other helps, but they can sit even at home, and then the healthcare and patients are coming together under the same roof, and they can interact with each other to efficiently get means consultation, right? So these are the different real-time monitoring, all those things I have, although prepared for this, I should not go in detail all this. Let me go through some other things where it will be better to talk about from the industrial perspective. These are the different sensors networks. AmbuSense is one of the applications area in MHRD approved project in IIT Kharagpur, where they are doing this in the ambulance itself, how this AmbuSense works for ailing patients and sending the data from ambulance to the doctors and to take the prescriptions from there, okay, using the health cloud framework. And also privacy preservation is one of the biggest area in that healthcare area, because patients identity masking is one of the big thing that needs to be used. Otherwise, one patient's data, if it is not masked and it is open source, then everybody can have that information and can tamper the data, right? And then the doctors will be confused. There will be wrong medicines applied to the patients and things like that, and which will be detrimental to the to the patient, right? And not only to the patient, but also to the entire system. So privacy preservation is one of the things, and these are the future of IoT in applications that I talked about in the agricultural area, like soil moisture and their water level monitoring and all those things. Automated irrigation system is one of the things. The sprinkler I talked about, okay. Recycling of organic waste, vermicomposting and all those things. So these are all from an agricultural perspective. AgriSense is also another project from MHRD. This for smart water management using IoT, automatic irrigations and all those things. Dynamic irrigation treatment can be done, controlling, remote monitoring, all those things is being done through AgriSense project. Let me go to next. Let me just talk about something from, these are not very, these are some of the technologies. If my slides are moving, I am into slide number now 38. If you can see, these are the technologies associated with IoT, starting from RFID and then barcoding smartphones, wireless sensor network, cloud computing. Service-oriented architecture is the interfacing systems between different applications through which data is being fed from one system to another system to take necessary actions. These are different communicating protocols and devices, like near field communications, internet, IPv6, 3G, 4G, nowadays 5G has also come. We are using Wi-Fi, we are using Zigbee, WiMAX and all those technologies, right? So these are entire gamut of technologies, I should say, associated with IoT. Some of the design consideration part of IoT are from the energy perspective. How long one IoT devices can work, that is a battery backup, okay? That is one of the perspective where a lot of research is going on. Then the latency part, how much time is needed for message propagation and processing from one device to another or one node to another. So that is from the perspective of latency, because in some of the cases the latency is very much crucial, say healthcare specifically, where you have to give medicines or to the patients immediately when they are into some chronic disease, okay, they are attacked by some chronic disease. So latency is one of the things. Then the throughput, or what is the maximum amount of data that can be transported, how much scalable is the product is, or the entire framework is. So how many devices, how many users that can be used, things like that. Then topology, how many total number of nodes or devices can be communicated. And from the security and safety perspective, how secure and safe is the application, which is the also another one top or hottest topic nowadays in the IoT region. These are different enabled capabilities, and this is also a good slide where you can see different barriers and enablers of IoT. So I am into slide number 41, talks about barriers and enablers. So different barriers in the IoT in real term IoT applications in industry, like user related barriers. There are enterprises who doesn't want to go for IoT applications. They think about some of their operation related barriers, economic financial reasons they think about, management related barriers. So those are the different user related barriers are there. There are policy related barriers, lack of related policies, government policy, then your particular specific industry sectors policies and all, lack of standardizations supported by policies and all those things. There are technology related barriers are also there, that kind of technology that you need to operate, maybe there are some barriers on that. So compatibility and interoperability of the systems of applications, information communication technology integration, standardizations and all those. So those are different barriers we can see from the industry perspective. And there are different enablers like cloud computing, mobile communications, augmented reality, near field communications, Web 3.0. So these are different uh, enablers for IoT. So let me quickly try to finish because my time is already, I think, 1 hour is past. Let me go through some of the challenges we can see from the industry perspective in implementing IoT. Those are from the infrastructure constraint and scalability perspective. There are some challenges. The mostly that challenge is there. Then high cost of initial investment. That is also another challenge. Okay, lack of skills for cost-effective operations. So skills are also required to implement IoT and maintain it, right? And then the return on investment. So the businesses generally think about the return on investment that they will make before implementing any of the IoT devices and things. So that is also another challenge. And also the priority, that is the business priority, how much priority they are giving to implement the IoT on a specific application areas. That is also coming under this. So these are the different challenges and implementations in implementing IoT actually. Okay. Some of the criticisms and controversies of IoT people talk about from privacy security perspective and social control, political manipulations, and all those things. So these are the criticisms and controversies, and some of the related future technologies, as all of you know, cloud computing, big data, security, privacies are there. Let me also talk about this particular slide, which talks about some value stack calculations on IoT. So this will depict how IoT is being used nowadays in the industry, and at a particular slide, you can come to know that how much important it is now. So there are almost $8 trillion of stake, IoT value and stake now uh, across the world actually, out of which $6.4 trillion are from the private sector and $1.6 trillion are from the say public sector. And this is different sector wise how much investment currently we can foresee in the IoT sector, like $2.1 trillion from innovation and revenue side. This is the most one. Then asset utilizations and their maintenance. Supply chain logistics is also one of the biggest area, which caters about almost 25% of the entire value stake, and then other things. Okay, and and the other slide I will talk about how this current status and future prospect of IoT is getting out currently. From population wise, if you see from 2003, there are a world population of 6.3 billion and connected devices was only 500 million. In 2000, so our connected devices per person was only 0.08, not even reaching to some decimal value nearer to 0.1. This is, but in 2010 it was 6.8 billion world population vis-a-vis. You can see how this population is growing and how this connected devices is growing. From 500 million, it exponentially grows to 12.5 billion in 2010. So the connected devices per persons, it came as 1.84, almost approaching 2 from 0.08. Then on 2015, it was 7.2 billion was world population, and vis-a-vis the connected device was 25 billion. So it is 3.47 is the ratio between the connected device and the number of people. And in 2020, as you can see nowadays, 7.6 billion only the population of the world has increased, not even in arithmetic progression, but it has gone even not in geometric progression. It is exponentially. So 25 billion to now 50 billion. And then our total connected devices per person is 6.58. So each and every person is having almost around 7 connected devices nowadays. That is we can see foresee actually from the perspective. This slide is basically to show that how these connected devices through IoT is being exponentially is getting increased, and how this IoT is generally nowadays capturing the whole world actually, and giving all lots of benefits and all this actually. Okay. So I thought there are some slides I prepared from the IIoT perspective, but those are very much from the theoretical perspective, and how this industrial Internet of Things are getting connected, and how it is being IoT is being transformed to IIoT to cater all the solutions in industrial sectors. So let me not go through all these slides actually, but this is Industry 4.0 concept, as all of you might know, from starting from first industrial revolution, this mechanized production. Then second industrial revolution, 1782, we started with the automation. Then industrialization in electricity and all those things. Then 1870, our mass production systems came, from which we have the electronic automations in 1969, which is the third industrial revolution. And now we are into this smart automation era, which is the fourth industrial revolution, which is called the industrial Internet of Things. Okay? That is how the evolution happens. Some of the basic difference between IoT and IIoT. Let me not take much time on this. And some applications areas of IIoT that I already talked about. Nothing more in these cases. So there are big transport logistics sites, vehicle to sensors, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to internet, and vehicle to road infrastructural connectivity, and all those things nowadays possible through this actually. Okay. So, and also another applications from mining area for safety of the workers in the mining, uh, providing of early warning for disasters, monitoring of the air quality inside the mines, okay, and detection of presence of poisonous gases inside the mines, oxygen level inside the mines, and all those things can be done through this IIoT applications in mining.